Video games have become so mainstream that there is no shortage of gaming-centric merchandise on offer. I think it's really great to have so much to choose from, but I also think it's nice to personalize your game room with a few DIY items. Rather than purchasing a Super Mario Bros. Style light-up question block, I've developed a method to make my own. The basic how-to steps of making a paper box are covered on my website and in a recent cubic box tutorial I posted, but to make this light-up variation requires a few non-obvious modifications to the standard design. Allow me to walk you through the steps I took so you can make one of these for your own. Here's the original box of this type I made. On my first try, I made a couple of oversights, and I realized that making a few small tweaks to the build would make for a big improvement in the final result. With that in mind, I'll be starting over from scratch and showing you all of the steps from the ground up. To start, we'll need to find an internal light source. I initially intended to use one of these battery-operated tea lights. They are crazy cheap, but I decided against using them for two reasons. The ones that I bought at the dollar store produced orange light, which could possibly work, considering the box color, but secondly, they flicker to mimic candlelight, and that isn't what I wanted for this project. If I found some that produced white light and have a flickerless option, I could recommend them. But I have another decoration that these are perfect for. Next, I came across these LED accent lights. They are just the right size and brightness, and they have other features that make them perfect for this use. I'll show you what I mean later in the video. With the lighting settled, now we actually need to make the box. This is a papercraft box, and in the description you'll find links to printable templates. The image is too large to print on standard paper, but it was made so that the reduction percentage will reflect the printed box's size in millimeters. I'm making this 80 millimeters, so I'll reduce it to 80% at the time of printing. Now let's talk about print medium. The first attempt was made on standard paper to allow as much light as possible to shine through, but when lit, the bright LED causes the color to wash out more than I expected. I then tried cardstock, thinking it might improve the color, but the difference was nominal. I pondered this problem for a while, and then the true solution occurred to me. Print the design on both sides. I printed the template on standard paper, then I reversed the image and the paper and printed it again on the back. This produces fuller, richer colors. I'm not using a high-end printer, so I had to set up everything manually, and luckily my two-sided prints have lined up well. If they end up misaligned, you might notice some ghosting when lit, but mostly just around the edges of the image. If I follow the standard directions to assemble this box, lighting it from within will cause the tabs and flaps to cast these unwanted shadows. But I can make alterations to the build to account for this. I'll use a hobby knife to carefully cut out the side tabs, the top box flaps, and the closure flap. This will create some necessary negative space. Cut these a couple of millimeters away from the box edges though. This will help make sure your box's seams are fully covered. If you have any uncovered gaps, the light shining out will highlight the mistake. I don't need to bother with the bottom flaps, I can leave them as is. Once these are all removed, I'm going to laminate the templates. The lamination will stick to itself through these cutout areas, and I'll have transparent flaps and tabs. If you don't have a laminator, this trimming method will still work. Just trim them back as far as you can, but leave a few millimeters in each case to make a proper fold possible. The idea is to trim them back far enough so that the shadows they cast will fall within the question block design's borders, mostly masking them from notice. Honestly, the best lamination for a job like this is self-stick laminating sheets, but I still have lots of the less expensive thermal laminating pouches left over from other projects, so that's what I'm using. After laminating, the box will be cut out and folded up. The thermal lamination sticks well to itself, but only partially to the paper surface. When the boxes get cut out, the integrity of the lamination gets cut away, and it is likely to delaminate from the paper. On my first box, I neglected to account for this, and sure enough, the lamination wants to peel away, especially around the edges and the folds. This time I'll counteract this by using my spray adhesive. After lightly spraying both sides with the adhesive, it has to be carefully placed in the laminating pouch. I trimmed around the edges of the template beforehand so it'd be easier to center in the pouch. Since both sides are now sticky, it's more likely that you'll encounter the lamination wrinkling. A thicker lamination like 5mm should help. This adhesive allows you to reposition while it's still tacky, so you might have to do this. Smooth it out and try to work out any air bubbles. And now it's off to the laminator. Alright, that's done. Time to cut them out. I have to score the fold lines too. Remember, near these edges we left a paper margin. The fold line is actually on the paper, not on the paper and lamination border. Be careful when folding on these edges too. To affix these two templates together, I'm securing them using a slot and tab method. I'll create 2 slits in this template, and I'll cut up to these lines to make securing tabs on this one. I don't really need the side tabs to be this long, so I'm trimming them by about half. It may seem like a lot of steps, but it's actually really simple to make this. If you are enjoying the tutorial, you can find more in this playlist. Now it's assembled. Drop the LED in and close it up. The paper curls and causes gaps at the connections, but we can fix that with some tape. Even if you have to tape the outside of the box, it blends in seamlessly with the lamination. Okay, and we're just about done. The box top is curling and creating a noticeable gap. I'll tape it closed. But what about the light? These lights have features that I didn't show you yet. They are remote controlled, and I can even control them through the box. These lights I found came 5 to a package, so you can add more accent pieces to your game room, all controlled by a single remote. I have links to similar light packages in the description below. Two-sided printing opens up other possibilities as well. With a hidden image printed inside, you can achieve some neat effects. Here are a couple of sample images to show you what I mean. The lights have a dimming function too. Perfect for use as a decorative nightlight, for instance. Lastly, they can produce color lights too. With this in mind, I tried these designs. This project has spawned a few ideas that I'm experimenting on for possible future videos. I want to do more experiments with lights and two-sided printing. I'm also planning on making different game room decoration videos in the future. If you have another design that would look good as a decorative light up, please let us know in the comments. This might not be a project that you would like to try, but by watching I hope you've still learned something. I have several other gaming projects you can check out. I love replying to comments, so join in the conversation below. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope to talk to you later.